Oh, what a day. More and more souls are piling in all the time. I can't believe even I'm getting overwhelmed. Maybe it's time to think about getting an assistant. But who?
My lady, there's someone here to see you.
What? Send them away. I'm not going to hold an audience with a rival if they can't even be bothered to send word in advance.
It's not another demon lord, my lady. It's a mortal.
Oh, a mortal. Why the here would a mortal... You know what? Never mind. Just send them in. Anything to take my mind off work. Well, well, well. You're awfully far from home, aren't you, little mortal? It must have been quite a journey. Before you tell me what you want, I want to hear how you got here. You're still alive, so you obviously didn't come here through the, usual methods. So you went and summoned Ball, did you? Yes, back in the day he was quite a powerful ruler. I can see why you'd seek his help. But I conquered his realm long ago. Now he reports to me. It must have been a surprise when he said he'd take you to his master, Oh, you thought he meant... You think I'm... Oh, no. I'm not the ruler of hell, although I do have dominion over a portion of it. My name? It's awfully presumptuous of you to ask my name, seeing that you haven't given me your own. And you haven't even bowed to me yet. I forgave that oversight due to my curiosity, but if you don't want me to suck out your soul, I suggest you kneel and introduce yourself. Much better. I am surprisingly pleased to meet you. My name is Onoskelis. I'm what's known as a demon lord. Basically one of the upper crust down here. The more followers a demon has, the more powerful they are. I've gathered a considerable number of demons under my banner in recent years. Keep that in mind when addressing me. Your tone is much more respectful now. Good. Now, tell me why you're here. Sell your soul? At one time, that would have been a tempting offer. But nowadays, the mortal realm is so bloated with humans, souls are as common as sulfur here. If anything, giving me your soul would just increase my workload. And I don't need any more on my plate. Ugh, don't beg. You look ridiculous blubbering like that. Are you really expecting mercy from a demon? Ha! Leave? Oh, no, you won't be leaving. Your fate was sealed the moment you left the mortal realm. You're right. I don't want you. So you can go and run around hell to your heart's content. Go be somebody else's problem. Oh, I just can't keep a straight face with you crying like that. I was kidding. I'm not just going to kick you out of my kingdom now that you're here. And I don't think you look ridiculous when you sob like that. You look hilarious. And maybe even a little bit cute. Oh, don't act so indignant. I'm just having a bit of fun. I'm a demon. I find human suffering immensely entertaining. Oh, no, I still don't want your soul. Ugh. I meant what I said about being overrun as it is. But if you need a favor from me, there's another way you could earn it. You have a few choices, actually. Basically, I want you to take one of the more, tedious jobs around here, so I can free up a demon or two for more important tasks. Why don't I have some of the human souls do those jobs? Because then they wouldn't be suffering. At least, not as much as they should. I take pride in my work. I'm not about to go easy on them just because I've been entrusted with so many. But you are in a unique position. You aren't dead, nor did you sell me your soul. Well, not for lack of trying. But that means I have no obligation to torture you. So, let's look at the options here. Let's see. You could care for my hellhounds. They need to be fed, walked, and played with every day. Oh, does that sound like something you'd enjoy, then? I'm glad, because that would actually free more than one or two of my minions. I lose so many good workers to those mutts. What do I mean? Oh, well, hellhounds aren't just regular dogs. They're about 5 feet at the shoulder, powerfully built, and vicious as a starving bear. A polar bear, ironically. To be honest, sometimes I wonder if it's worth keeping them around, with how often their caretakers have, accidents. But so many of the damned here have a fear of large animals. Makes it hard to justify getting rid of them. Oh, you've changed your mind. Shame. Well, what else? I could have you stoke the pit of fire. It's the place we keep souls in between torture sessions. Yes, the name pretty much sums it up. Souls can't die since, they're already dead. So we just toss them in there and they're pretty much in constant agony until we take them back out. It's a bit like making a brick oven pizza, really, if the pizza were screaming. Just keep them in there. Did you miss my pizza metaphor? They'll burn to cinders, and you can't very well torture cinders, now can you? Besides, I told you before, I take pride in my work. If you really want a human to suffer, you can't let them get adjusted to it. Anyways, you'd be helping to keep the fire burning as hot as possible. Feeding it fuel, fanning the flames, etc. As you can imagine, it's hot as, well, hell. And it's backbreaking labor to boot. I actually used to make souls do it as a form of punishment. But you never know when one of them is going to decide they actually enjoy doing hard labor. You mortals are weird like that. So you don't think you're one of those? Fine. I had one other job in mind. I could have you help with my work directly. I'll admit I have reservations about employing a non-demon tormentor, but I suppose I can at least give you a chance. That's right, a tormentor. You would be in charge of torturing some of the souls of the damned. Honestly, it's not terribly difficult, as long as you have a little creativity. Naturally, you'll be employing some of the classics. Stabbing with a pitchfork, branding with a hot iron, whipping, so on. But psychological attacks are important too. You'll have access to their life's history, so if you can suss out their phobias and shames, you'll do quite well. Oh my, you're looking pale. Relax, it's not like you'd be torturing innocent people. This is hell, remember? We get all the nastiest, most evil scum of the earth. Murderers, rapists, politicians, you name it. Really, you'd be performing a public service. Goodness, you're picky, aren't you? Well, those are the 3 jobs. Pick one fast before I decide to take your soul after all. Oh, you are just too easy to mess with. You looked like you were going to faint. That look of horror you had was just too perfect. It was all a joke. I'm not going to give you some horrifying task. I'm actually starting to, like you see. I wouldn't mind having you as a court jester, but I wouldn't waste you on something so frivolous like that. Besides, I don't know if you're funny. So, here's the real job offer. I want you to become my personal assistant. You see, I think I could find ways to make my torturing methods more efficient, less labor-intensive. But I'm getting so caught up in the daily drudgery of just keeping up with demand that I don't have time to figure out how to innovate. But if I had someone to handle all the little things for me, then it would be a different story. Basically, your duties would be to travel around my kingdom, collect reports, and ensure quotas are being met, deliver messages. It would be challenging, to be sure, but that sounds a lot better than my other suggestions, doesn't it? I mean, I suppose you could pick one of those, if you really want. Oh, so you'll accept. I'm so glad to hear that. I was actually going to select one of my minions to do it, but you came along right as I came up with the idea. The timing was so perfect, it felt like fate. What's that? Oh, that's right. You came down here to make a deal. All right. Tell me what it is you want from me. If it's in my power, I'll make it happen. Since I'm feeling generous, if I can't do it, I'll return you safely home. Huh. I wasn't expecting something so, noble. Don't people usually pray about that sort of thing? Well, regardless, although I can't exactly say you made the, quote-unquote, right choice by coming to me, I can tell you that I can definitely make that happen. In the meantime, my servant outside the door will show you to your new living quarters. Get some rest. I'll be training you on your new job tomorrow. Where are they? Nearly half an hour late and no message explaining why. Guess I'm adding that to the list. Finally! There you are, mortal. I was starting to think you decided you'd had enough and just quit. I wouldn't advise that, by the way. Getting back to the mortal world isn't easy if you're mortal. You have the report, I presume? Go ahead and read it for me. Is suffering output really that low in the pit of fire? That's usually our most productive team. It's another problem that needs fixing. All right, keep going. Oh, has Acquisitions already secured the land that Mephistopheles left undefended? Perfect. We can start building some holding facilities for all the souls we're getting. That old man keeps slipping up lately. Okay. Any messages? Well, I'm not surprised that the tar pits would be asking for more workers. They do this every century, I swear. I'm not even going to bother with a reply. If that doesn't tell them that I'm fed up, then there'll be some serious discipline going around. Oh? Psychological R&D is requesting workers, too? Actually, I guess they could use some. Oh, I know. I'll transfer some from the tar pits. That'll teach the little pests. Is that everything? Oh, in that case, there's something I need to discuss with you. When you started here, you really impressed me. You worked so much faster than I had expected you to. I remember one time you delivered 3 messages to the farthest corners of my domain, and you were back in only a few hours. And you weren't just fast, either. When you collected reports, you made sure they were accurate and organized. You made things so easy for me. It was just what I needed. Now, I never expected you to keep up that pace. I get it. You were excited about your new job, so you worked harder than normal. I figured you'd eventually settle into a more stable workflow. But to be frank, lately you've been a disappointment. It takes forever for you to get from one place to another, and your reports are constantly full of inaccurate information. I've had to set aside a demon just to fact-check your reports, including the one you just gave. Quiet. I'll give you the chance to explain yourself eventually. For now, you just listen. Now, I've been patient. More patient than most demon lords would ever be. You've received warnings, additional training, even an assistant of your own. But none of those measures have made an acceptable improvement. By now, I've started considering, replacing you. I have many demons that could take your position. None of them could do as well as you did at the beginning, but there are plenty that can outperform you as you are now. I'm still undecided on what should happen to you if you were replaced. I know I won't be giving you a different job. I'm not so generous that I'd give you a chance to fail me a second time. Possibly just throw you out and let you wander hell for all eternity. I might even take your soul and add it to the ones to be tortured. Sure, it's more work for me, but I am awfully steamed at you. Oh, all right, I'll let you state your case. But it had better be good. Oh, so some of my minions are going out of their way to make your job difficult. And just why would they be doing that? Because you're mortal. Well, I did expect that there would be mixed reactions from the other demons when I hired you. But I would never have expected them to go that far. But if that's the case, why haven't you said anything, This isn't the first time I've brought up your drop in performance. Were they heckling you back then, too? They threatened to hurt you if you said anything. Really? I think you might have your priorities a little mixed up, mortal. See, you should be much, much more afraid of me than you are of them. Did you not think I'd want to know if you were being harassed? Did you think I would just allow you to continue on with your subpar performance? Besides, they can't really do anything to you. Some other demon lords allow infighting among their minions. They think it makes them more vicious. But I don't tolerate that sort of chaos in my domain. To me, order is far more effective. They know that. Their threats were empty. Oh, no, you're not forgiven. You're in hell. It's a dog-eat-dog world down here. If you can't even stand up for yourself and do your job, then what good are you to me? I'm afraid that if you're going to be that weak, then this just isn't going to work out. Eternal punishment it is, then. Oh, my dear, sweet, gullible little mortal. When will you stop falling for my tricks? Oh, personally, I hope never. That's right, I'm only joking. I'm not going to let my minions bully you into leaving. What sort of demon lord would allow that kind of insubordination? I'll punish any demon who dares to interfere with you doing your duties. Listen, I want to tell you that... Oh, wait one moment. I can't do this from a throne. I need to be looking at you eye to eye. All right. I want to tell you that you have a place here, in my service. Don't allow yourself to become discouraged. I had many, many choices, but I decided that you were the one most suited to be my assistant. True, it was sort of an off-the-cuff decision, but you've proven that I was right to do so. I'm not going to go so far as to apologize for being harsh earlier. It sends the wrong message when a demon lord starts apologizing to their minions. But I hope you know that I value you. I was upset because, from where I was sitting, you were wasting your potential. From now on, please let me know if there's something getting in the way of your work. I expect a lot out of those who serve me, but I also look after them. Well, it looks like I have some work of my own to do, dealing with those insubordinate subordinates. No, don't tell me their names. It's better if I find them through my own methods. It'll teach them that it's pointless to threaten you into silence. I can track them down myself. Although, I guess you did have to tell me what was happening for me to know that I should track them down. I'm going to have to work on a way to find out when my minions are threatening each other. It's possible you aren't the only one. Anyway, until I root out all the offenders, I'm putting you on mandatory leave. Vacations don't come all that often in hell, so, make the most of it. You can pretty much do whatever you want, but if you want a recommendation, I hear the sulfur fields east of my domain are particularly lovely this time of year. Might want to give it a look. Mortal, would you hand me the reports for this month's soul inventory? I've been a bit distracted as of late, and I haven't been keeping a close eye on things. Of course, I suppose that's what I have you for, but, a demon lord should always know what's going on in their realm. Let's see. 83,546 in the pit of fire, 69,080 in the tar pits, 44,110 in the beast forest, yes, 3,591 being tortured in the dungeons, and 566 with specialized punishments for a total of, let's see here, 200,883? Is my math correct? Wait, how long ago did we pass the 200,000 mark? I feel like we should have had some sort of special event and celebration. I suppose we still could. Put that on my to-do list. Anyways, what else? Torment levels are high. Punishment rotations are happening bi-monthly, just as they should. Good. Oh, my word, things are looking very good lately. And all thanks to you, mortal. Ever since I made an example of those demons who were getting in your way, you've been nothing but helpful. It's really been a load off my shoulders. I'd like to know more about these souls who are getting the special treatment. Could you contact the tormentors in charge and... Oh, you already put a report together. Excellent. Let's take a look. Oh, look at this. Current and past punishments, their major sins in life, length of their stay. Oh, you thought of everything. Oh, and there's even a list of recommendations for souls who should be added. Oh, you really are so well suited for this job. Dedicated, insightful, proactive. You've completely changed how things work here, for the better. To think that you showed up just when I needed you by sheer coincidence. And that's what makes this all so difficult. You see, Oh, no, not at all. You're not being fired. Not exactly. Let me explain. You know that I try to treat my minions fairly. I expect much out of them, but I do reward hard work. That's how I draw the best out of them. And, well, no one has worked harder than you. We never set any sort of term limit for you. Honestly, I was planning on keeping you for all eternity, and really, I'd like to. But what sort of message would I be sending if I took advantage of you? My minions have to believe that their great service reaps great rewards. And so, I'm giving you an offer. If you wish, I will release you from your service to me, and you may return to the mortal world. Your wish will remain granted, and you won't have to return. Unless you live a life deserving of punishment, of course. So, what do you think? Do you accept? Oh, that's a relief. I really wasn't looking forward to trying to find a replacement for you. I really doubt there's anyone who could do what you do. But I'm also a little surprised. You do realize that you're in hell, don't you? I like to think that I'm not overly harsh on you, but I'm not known for leniency either. Do you really prefer it here over your home? Ah, I see. I had no idea. Well, I'm glad that you feel fulfilled here, at least. Regardless, in that case, I'll need to provide you with a different reward. I was expecting you to take my first offer, but I did set up something else just in case. With how efficiently things have been running lately, I've been gearing up for major expansion. I've been chipping away at Mephistopheles' territory for some time now, but I think it's time for a total takeover. Oh, you've been wondering why we fight over territory if we're all technically on the same side. Well, it's really just the nature of demons. There's nothing more important to a demon than a high social standing. We crave power, influence, glory. For demon lords like me, that's especially true. I want nothing more than to be the best at what I do. We're all assigned souls to manage based on our capacity, but otherwise it doesn't matter what we do. Wars between lords are totally acceptable, and it's the most common way of expanding territory. More territory means more souls, and with them, greater rewards and a higher status. So, returning to what I was saying earlier, I want you to have a part in the upcoming invasion. Oh yes, front lines. You'll get a knife, maybe a helmet if we can spare one. We'll see whether you have potential as a demon slayer. I'm sure you'll be fine. Oh, not falling for that one? Well, it's not my best lie, granted. You're right. I'd never waste you as a foot soldier. In fact, I'd never let you onto a battlefield, period. A human would be a very attractive target for the enemy. And even some of our own soldiers. No, you won't have to worry about that. I wish to name you Grand Quartermaster of my army. You'd be managing all the logistics for supplies and soldiers. Personally, I think this could be a fantastic opportunity for you. You wouldn't be anywhere near the battlefield, but you would be sent toward the edge of my domain. My armies are well supplied, so I expect it to be a rather quiet, easy job. I don't necessarily need someone with great skill to handle it, just someone I, trust. Well, no. We probably wouldn't see all that much of each other. I need to remain close to the center of my territory, where I can best manage all of my affairs. Of course, I would make regular trips over to inspect things, and I would spend some time in the command center during the actual operation, but otherwise, we would only communicate through written correspondence. It seems to me that you're troubled by that for some reason. What is it that bothers you exactly? Well, that's very flattering. If you really would prefer to continue working closely with me, then I'm happy to oblige. You aren't the only person that I could trust with that position, of course, and I welcome your continued service as my aide, if that's really what you desire. Well, in that case, let's see. I could give you some additional perks as your reward instead. Perhaps some more comfortable quarters, And a few extra days off? How does that sound? Ah, wonderful! I must say you are constantly surprising me, mortal. I, never really would have expected anyone to feel drawn to me, as you do. You don't become a demon lord in order to make friends, after all. But I welcome it, all the same. Say, these days I usually take my meals alone, but perhaps you'd like to join me sometime, When we're together, we always talk about work. Why, I barely knew anything about your life in the mortal world until today. I'd love an opportunity for us to get to know each other better. Splendid! For now, why don't you take the rest of the day off, while I make arrangements for you to move into one of the nicer rooms. I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow, mortal. You're late. Again. You were doing so well for a while, and now suddenly you're tardy all the time. You aren't being harassed by other demons again, are you? I see. Well, you know to tell me if they do, yes? I have a no-tolerance policy for coworker sabotage, and I expect my servants to report incidents to me immediately. Keep that in mind. Oh, never mind that. Just do your best to work on it. For now, give me your report. Oh, a message from the overseers. That's interesting. And also worrying. It's been a long time since they've bothered to issue any sort of instructions. They usually leave us demon lords to our own devices. All right, then. What do they have to say? I was afraid of that. So, we're going to have to start worrying about tourism now. As if I wasn't busy enough, now we have to accommodate slack-jawed mortals who pay to see others of their kind being tortured. Unbelievable. I can be a bit of an old-fashioned demon at times, but I think it was a mistake for Hell to ever start letting living mortals enter it. They cause more problem than their money is worth. Ah, well, yes, of course, present company excluded. You're actually here to serve me, not just pay money to gawk. You have a real purpose in Hell. Although, I was going to bring this up in a moment anyway, but, your productivity has been dropping again. Your tardiness is just a side effect of that. You said that you aren't having any further trouble with my demons interfering with your work, correct? You stand by that? Then what do you suppose is the source of your dropping performance? You're skilled in many ways, but you're not very good at understanding your own needs, are you? I was hoping that you would notice yourself, but I've been thinking it over. And I think I know the source of your problem. You're just not taking care of yourself. Oh, Tosh, you may claim that you're just fine, but your body tells me otherwise. I'm very familiar with the subtle, silent language of the human body. Back when my territory was small, I used to do much more, hands-on work. I was quite the torturer. I miss those days. So much simpler. Well, anyway, I still know how to pick out stress and anxiety in a mortal. And you, my friend, are experiencing plenty of both. But there's one part that puzzles me. You just got more time off. If anything, I would expect you to be less stressed. Why is it that you aren't able to relax? I recall that you took a day off just last week. Not very relaxing. Explain. That was something I never considered, I suppose. So, you haven't been able to connect with any of my demon servants, and that means that on your days off, you just spend time at home, alone. I suppose that wouldn't be very relaxing, would it? Well then, this leaves us in a difficult position. If I could, I would hire some more mortals, but it's just not that common for people to sell their souls anymore. More and more, people are able to get what they desire without the aid of a demon. And as much as I tend to boss my servants around, I can't simply order them to accept you. That would be the surest way to turn them against you. It's too bad they don't know you like I do. You and I get along just fine, but they... Oh, well, that's the solution, isn't it? You can spend some of your time off with me. Nonsense. I enjoy your company as well. Demons tend to be impulsive and volatile. Only demon lords are motivated by anything other than gratification or fear. It's very pleasant to speak with someone who's more level-headed. Come to think of it, I think I'm overdue for some kind of break as well. What would you say to a vacation for the both of us? Paid for entirely by me, of course. I hope it doesn't seem too strange for your boss to be suggesting something like this. The other demons can think whatever they wish. Even if we were involved, it's not like it would be a scandal. Such things aren't looked down on here. In fact, most demons expect it. Most demon lords have a favorite servant, at the very least. I try to treat my servants equally when possible, for the sake of motivation. But I have no reason to fear giving you special treatment. Wonderful. Come to think of it, I'm not certain if you've done much in the way of vacationing in the underworld, have you? I recommended one to you a while back, but, if I recall correctly, you didn't actually venture far. That's understandable. To be frank, it would be more strange if you weren't nervous about traveling through hell itself. Well, you certainly won't have anything to worry about as long as you stay by my side. There's not a single being that would be eager to anger a demon lord. Well, let's see. Where to go? The magma pools are always good for a nice, relaxing time. Nothing like a long, soothing soak. Ah, of course. How silly of me. Not exactly soothing for mortals. What else? There's the beast pits. They hold all sorts of blood sports there, mostly centered around fighting literal beasts from hell to the death. At one time, I actually toyed with the idea of being a gladiator there myself. Oh, it's such a spectacle. Demons being torn limb from limb, the crowd crying for more. Who knows? Maybe we could even get you slotted in as a gladiator yourself. That would be an unforgettable vacation for sure, don't you think? No? Oh, you are so picky. All right, we'll think of something else then. Well, the only other place that springs to mind is the Western Acid Fields. The colors are beautiful, especially this time of year. Oh, but there's the poisonous gases. Oh, well, you're not too attached to your lungs, are you? Oh, well, that makes things difficult. I suppose a vacation is just out of the question for you. Fine then, back to work. No more time off for you, ever. Oh, surely you didn't just barely figure it out. I tease you so often at this point. I'm surprised you take anything I say seriously at all. Well, it's true that there aren't many good vacation spots for a mortal in hell. That part wasn't made up. But that just means that we'll have to go somewhere outside of hell. Probably not the mortal world, no. I can't go there without, drawing attention. And as for you, Well, I trust you, but it's not wise to set a mortal loose in the mortal world unsupervised. I fear you may get tempted to flee. Oh, no, it's just that... Well, a demon understands how humans can succumb to temptation more than anybody. I know that you're loyal, but caution is always wise. I was actually thinking of taking you someplace else in the underworld, other than hell. I'm not sure if you gleaned it from your work here, but hell is just one kingdom in the underworld. Hell is especially dangerous and bleak. Other parts of the underworld are fairly tame, if only by comparison. That's where most of the visitors from the mortal world go. Some areas are fairly well suited to mortal visitors, in fact. Well, I was actually thinking of taking you to the Underworld Resort. It's perhaps the most luxurious place in the entire underworld. Oh, yes, it's incredibly expensive. If you tried to go on your own, you'd probably end up paying much more than you realized. Oh, nothing. Anyway, you don't have to worry about the price. I told you I'd pay, didn't I? Not at all. You realize I live in a literal palace, don't you? There's nothing in the underworld that I can't afford. Certainly. And there are many places nearby we could visit during the day. It would be my pleasure to show you the best the underworld has to offer. Ah, it is a little bit strange, isn't it? For a demon to show such generosity to a mortal that's bound to serve them. Well, you certainly deserve it. You almost single-handedly turned my situation around when you arrived. It's not an exaggeration to say that you're the reason I'm outcompeting my rivals now. And besides, I plan on enjoying myself as well. I have as much to gain from a well-earned break as you do. In that case, I'll dismiss you a moment, and you can start packing. I'll make arrangements for transportation. Would tomorrow be too soon to leave? Then that's when we'll set out. Oh, I'm already so eager to go.